Okay, that's not a very good light. Overnight, I believe. Yeah. So Hey, Shard.
Hey, how you doing? Can you guys hear
Can you
me?
hear me all right? All right.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, I don't have my volume on. Okay. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Yep. That was my volume.
Awesome.
Andy and Dan.
What's that?
Here's Andy and Dan.
And Chard's here.
Yep. And Shard. You guys see me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We have a few more minutes. So how about those Cubs? I do want to congratulate you on your state championship, Shard, for golf.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. It's fun.
I know we talked about the other day, and I was kind of like, I think I was brain dead when I was talking to you. I was so overwhelmed.
Hi, Andy.
Well, it's nice to finish the right way since
That's
I'm not allowed
right.
to do it going forward. So
That's right.
yeah, with the new gig.
Let me get a different. My daughter told me this is a great spot to do videos and pictures because it's really good for your Instagram. It's in our hallway, so natural light coming in the front door.
It looks good.
That's funny.
I know. I don't want to start talking too soon because then we'll run out of things to say in our meeting. So.
So have you guys had, I feel like the kids are a little bit more on top of things this year. Do you think
That's
it's
good.
the due dates?
Yes.
You think that's helped?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because they at least feel like there's some accountability, like they have to do it by a certain day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I've had several that have sent me text apologizing for being an hour late.
Yeah.
That never happened before.
And you think this text is going to be good enough for that? No. You can really make them feel bad.
That's funny.
I got about 15 that still have to take Unit 1 test still.
Yeah.
Do you?
That's not bad, though.
I've got 18
Oh.
left.
How many?
18.
They have to take the test?
Yeah, as of this morning.
That they'll do that. I'm the procrastinators.
Right.
That's
I
it. You
found
got to
out
always
why they-
remind. Oh, go ahead.
I found out why I asked one of my students who dropped the class why they do government first. They
It's
said
easier.
they said that government was longer.
Oh.
Get out of the way. That's what I heard.
Longer?
Longer.
Hmm.
That's what she said. She had heard. She's from Avon.
Oh, yeah.
She
I
said
don't-
it thought it would take them a little bit longer. There was more reading in government. That's why.
Yeah. That could be true for sure because, they would definitely have some reading.
They got lots more reading, I'm sure. But that's
Yeah.
where the class is set up.
Yep.
I
Hi,
only had
Kim.
one drop though.
That's good. That's great.
How about you guys?
One drop and 3 that have never done anything. One of which has taken government and has been in government. I've called, emailed, contacted parents. So don't know what the deal is.
Yeah. It gets old here, and you have reached the voice mailbox of. I don't need to hear that anymore.
One thing I do feel like though that the due date has helped because if we got that many kids that are just needing Unit 1 exam left, I mean they're getting ahead of it, and I got a lot of people ahead of the game that are following the pacing guide better. So that's been good. I think it's been a positive.
It doesn't hurt, that's for sure. Especially when you just make sure you explain to them that it doesn't, there's no grade penalty. It's really just there to motivate them.
Right. And I've got a couple, you always have one or two. I've got a couple kids that I've called multiple times. The phone number doesn't work and they haven't started, and there's just no way to really contact me. You email them, you call mom, that phone doesn't work. So it's unavoidable.
Every year.
Yeah.
I mean, they should know if they're taking a class online that they need to be checking their emails and they need to be, all those things. And so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one kid at 70%. Anyone got a kid done yet?
No.
I do.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're brother and sister. The girl is done, and the boy is like one thing behind her. But they haven't taken the final exam, the final review, but they've done everything else. They've done all the assignments. I've got two that are still at 0.
Yeah.
That have not. I've had some drop. I had 3 drop already in the last couple days, but I've got 2 that are at 0 that just doesn't matter how many times I call or email or are not doing anything.
Quite a few that are gone the week of finals. I think there's 7 or 8 I've got. And all have committed to get it done early and do all that, but there's a band camp or some sort of a camp that seems to be common now.
Hi. No.
Did they all eat?
Yeah, I'll tell you in a minute.
You have to eat the celery with the peanut butter.
Most of you are here, but I just sent out a reminder. Whoops. That's not okay. So
Oh.
Goodbye. Okay. So I sent out a reminder, so you'll get an email, but you're already here. So I'm going to go ahead and start for some of the things that we have outlined for today's meeting. So glad you can make it. We've already had a little discussion of those. You're all veterans, so I know you're running the grade reports in iOasis and looking for those kids. We've already talked about the kids meeting that 20%. That needs to be met by tomorrow, of course. And really, just a reminder, June 17th date of today, tomorrow's for grading any other additional items, but kids can still work. And so really it comes down to Wednesday morning when we'll actually pull out and drop. And so they can still work. You can still encourage students to do so. So it's not really until the 19th in the morning. The iOasis does update overnight, so if you look at it this morning, you'll see some kids that you've already graded some of their work, and it won't necessarily register that they've achieved any additional percentage or that 20%. So what I did was I just went to the grade book, and it was very easy to go into what's the assignment, which would be Unit 1 exam for Econ. And just kind of scroll down, and you can kind of get a good idea of those kids you may need to contact today and say, hey, look, you've got to finish that exam to get to that 20%. And as Andy was saying, he's got about 15 to do it. So just another quicker way, a little more up to date than the student roster. Okay. So any questions on that, or?
Nope.
Okay.
Andy, I could jump in here for a second.
Sure.
This is Kim. So one of the things that you could do also is if they're missing like one or two and you're not quite sure if they've met that 20%, if you don't want to wait for iOasis to sync, you can impersonate them. And then you can look to see what their true percentage really is.
Okay.
And as long as it's above that 20%, they're good, even if they might have skipped an assignment, as long as they have that. So, you know, if you're really concerned about one or two, you could impersonate them to see that. And then again, if they do get dropped, they have until Friday to petition to get back in. But they have to be at least at 10% and working before we will let them back in. And then even if we do let them in, if they don't make the 20% by that next Monday, we will drop them.
Okay. And that was my next thing. Let's talk about the petition to not be withdrawn. So of course that has to, I was looking at the WAC, and of course, you know, that has to come from the kids and so forth. So that'll be their job to get involved in that. I thought it was also, looking at that week 2 document, it was kind of interesting that we had that crowdsourcing idea that kind of had the teachers' ideas about motivation. So that might be something that if you're looking for some additional ideas that teachers are coming up with to help motivate students, it would be a good one to look at. I don't have anything I particularly advocate, but just something you can look at. Okay. Don't forget the parent portals. I'm going to send out another reminder today on there. Make them short and sweet, but just, you know, maybe you should check with your student to find out if he's at the 20% level, if they want to maintain the course here. Okay. I did, looking at, you know, just kind of some of your opening pages and looking at your news and notes, I see a lot of people are using a lot of different strategies in those, and so that's great. Videos, and I know a lot of you are inserting some of that supply and demand help links, whatever you use, PDFs, everybody has kind of their favorite. As we all know, with supply and demand and some of the other difficult topics, there's just never seems to be a one cure-all method. So if anyone thinks they have the gold standard of supply and demand help, feel free to share with our email group a link or a link. But you know,
Andy, real
really
quick.
Yeah.
That's one reason I was a couple minutes late, is I was just talking with a student about one of those links is not working in the supply. It's in the 2.3 supply. You know how the websites change.
Right.
And it's that University of Omaha or it's like another practice or another something, and she just reported that to me. So and then I got on and I couldn't get it to work either.
Couldn't get it to work too. Okay.
I just
one of those used Flash, and it worked all the way through April when I was checking it. So that's a recent development. Usually, though, what's nice about it is probably just a supplementary piece of information. There's nothing specifically tied to it. We just had a lot of those different things built into the course. As far as
and I told her that, and we worked through the interactive model together, which is you know, I just wanted you to know that it was
right. No, and I'll probably, because it's probably a link that will no longer be renewed. I mean, that's what happens sometimes with the free stuff you get online, then becomes all of a sudden pay, and you know, we don't get notified when that happens. So I'll go in there and I can actually probably turn those into drafts. So I'll take a look at your courses, and then the kids won't get confused, especially with a lot of them coming up on that. So I'll put that down. I also noticed, remember we have our bonus points. So just a reminder, if you want to use those for motivation, this is a good time to do it. Perhaps, I think I saw on your chart, you've got it all set up. They get to 50%. This is really the big week that probably will make a big difference. Not only that they meet the 20%, but then they have to all of a sudden get to 50% theoretically by the end of the week. So it's a big week for them in regards to that. So this might be a good time to use that Does anybody else have anything else at this point in time that they want to bring up or cover? I mean, how are your kids doing? We already talked a little bit, just chatting, that one of you had 15 that had to still make the 20%. One of you 18.
Yeah, Andy.
Mm-hmm.
When you're looking at the Unit 1 test, the students that have taken it, you can go up and change the search. You can change the search to the students who have not taken that exam, and then it gives you a list of those students.
So there you go. Yep, that's a great idea. So you can look at those. Yeah. And
What'd you
they
do
could.
that under? How'd you search that?
When you open up, so like you're going to look at the list of the students that are taking the Unit 1 exam, and when you go up to the top there's a little search, and below it gives you different categories to search, and it's defaulted under students that have taken the exam or students that have done the assignment. You can click on students that have not done the assignment.
Gotcha.
Click the and then you'll see all the students who haven't done it yet.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Yeah, it's faster than scrolling through, so you know, that's a good idea. Thanks, Andy. Good
and
tip.
remember to take your name and Andy's name off the
I have not
that haven't done it.
I have not taken the exam. Covering.
It's just a little bit more efficient, that's all.
Good, yeah, exactly. We're all about efficiency in econ. We know that.
Yeah.
That's the whole goal.
Yes, it's definitely more efficient.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any questions or tips or anything? Or
going pretty smooth, really. Once we get once the shakeout occurs here on Wednesday, then
right,
we should be off to the races.
Today's always stressful.
Yeah, today and tomorrow. Yeah.
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 I always tell them today's the deadline, and then tomorrow I always tell them I'll still take stuff till 4 or 5 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly what I do. At about 5 o'clock today.
It always seems to be about the
I
same.
don't say.
Oh, good. Go ahead, Michelle.
I was just going to say, I don't say anything this early in the day because the procrastinators will procrastinate even more. So I wait till the end of Monday, and the ones who really have procrastinated, then I will individually let them know. I'll give them a little bit more time so I don't lose them. But I'm afraid to say anything early in the day on Monday, and they'll wait even longer.
Oh, for sure.
You're absolutely right.
Yep. That's a good call there.
It's obviously you guys are very experienced at this. You know how these kids work.
Or some of them are so bad. Yeah.
I have kids on my class, which I only have the AP macro kids, but they're the same. I mean, in just a different level. But I hate myself because I'm a procrastinator. They'll say that, and I'm like,
yeah, oh yeah.
I don't know when they can do anything about that, but yeah. Otherwise, one thing you might think about, I just thought of this, is as we're talking about the course, and I know Laura Garmeyer is wanting to do some updates with this course, so your input on those suggested changes would be invited, and the more specific you can be on those, the better off, the more easily it is to kind of make those changes possible. So just think about that in the next few weeks. When it gets a little bit slower, I mean, as far as the work goes, to get the first 2 weeks done, maybe that's a good time to look at and make suggestions as to what could change, or this really is not a topic we have to cover, or something like that. I mean, it's such a broad class that we'd appreciate that. Okay. Anything else that Kim? I think I covered everything on the list that you gave us. Is there anything else that you seem to think is important?
No, just thank you guys for always being willing to help out when we have situations, and just really appreciate everybody pulling together, and you guys are such a good team, and we just really appreciate all that you're doing, and just let us know if you have any questions, and if you need us to help with any of these kids that are under the 20%, just let us know, and we'll try to reach out as well.
Yeah, I avoided talking about situations, Kim, because just whatever. So yeah, I'm just glad we're moving forward. So
Yep, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, everyone, you have a great afternoon.
Thanks.
All
you
right.
too.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.